Hey folks, welcome to Dark Souls. I have a couple things here. I have one of my favorite games of all time, I have an apartment to myself, I have a cold, and I have several bottles of apple cider. And I also have no desire to go out and hang out with people on a Saturday night. So, today, we're going to play some Dark Souls. Now, this is going to be a super duper casual playthrough and, let's play, or whatever you want to call this. I'm going to try to edit out, sniffles and coughs and things like that, but other than that, this is going to be off the hook, not planning things. So, let's see, what will my name be? How about Kaz? Kaz, as in casual. Enter. There we go. Okay. I feel like, I don't know. I feel like I actually play as the female character here more. Not that it matters at all, but whatever, let's go for it. I don't know if Kaz is a real name, so I don't think it really matters. Anyway, you got a bunch of different classes here. And I guess I'll try to be a little bit informative. In Dark Souls, it doesn't matter what class you start as. All it affects is your starting equipment and starting stats. Any class can do anything provided it gets the right stats eventually. So really, it's a matter of what you want to start out as, and maybe if you have a weapon or ability in mind, choosing the class that is closest to that ability. Most folks are probably going to start with either a warrior or a knight. Pros will choose the pyromancer. If you're a noob and you know it, you might want to choose sorcery, because sorcery is the easiest way to go. And if you're just kind of whatever, you'll choose something else. And if you hate yourself, you'll choose deprived, which ironically is not the weakest. Pyromancer is actually the weakest in terms of sheer statage. I have something in mind, so I'm going to go for warrior. I'm going to be trying something new. I've got a couple different starting gifts you can do here. Unlike Dark Souls 2, where all of them are useless, there are actually a couple really interesting ones. Most of them are not. Binoculars you can get 20 minutes in. Pendant is completely useless, which is really interesting. It's like a lore thing or whatever. Master Key, thieves always start with, and they open select doors. You can buy one for a lot of money, halfway through the game once you don't need them anymore. And Old Witch's Ring lets you interact with a certain NPC in a new way, and you can get it, oh god, pretty darn far into the game, far after you would originally meet that NPC. I always tend to go for the Old Witch's Ring, just so I don't have to remember how to get it in a real way. Let's go very large. Now you got a couple different starting faces you can customize as much as you like. See, the thing is about Dark Souls faces is that they kind of are all terrifying in their own special, unique way. Let's go for this one from the far east. Of what world? Who knows? God, I feel like I always get the bun, I think. So I should avoid that. I don't like the straight hair. Straight hair doesn't look very good. I could go for shade. I'm probably going to be wearing a hat anyway, though, so I'd like to have a little bit of interesting to look at. So let's choose the wave. And what's the least natural hair color here? I can customize this. Let's see if I can make the hair color even crazier. No, I can't. Or can I? Yes, I can. Oh, awesome. Let's pump up the green. Yeah, alright. That's what I like to see. Alright, so this will be our character. Now, here's an opening cutscene with most of the lore that you're going to get if you're not paying attention to how the game tells its stories. And I'm going to talk over this because I've seen it so many goddamn times, and I'm just going to take a drink. in DS Fix, the PC program that makes the PC version of this game not run like ass, there's an option to just disable the intro, because if you're playing Dark Souls, you're probably going to play it over and over because it's one of the best games ever made. But good lord, watching this cutscene over and over gets pretty boring. Or does it skip the cutscene, or does it just skip like the logos at the beginning with the Havoc engine and whatever? I don't know, because I don't check that box, because I feel like I should watch this every time and see if I actually understand the lore for once. I don't. Best as I can understand, once upon a time the world was ruled by dragons, and then there was a big fire that people found, and in that fire they found souls for some reason, and they took those souls and became extremely powerful, and fought the dragons and killed them. Mostly. Like, supposedly the dragons are extinct at this point. They're not. You'll keep finding more and more dragons, or descendants of dragons. They're not gone. I guess I should say that this is a spoilery-ish, playthrough-ish, commentary-ish thing. There's only so much you can spoil about Dark Souls. You can say what upcoming bosses are, but most of the spoilers would be backstory revealed through item descriptions or NPC conversations that most players probably never encounter, because they don't talk to NPCs or read item descriptions because they have better things to do, like kill things. I should say that I don't know a whole lot about the lore of the game. I am slowly gleaning information about the lore from various playthroughs I watch on YouTube. I've probably watched as much Dark Souls as I've played, because it's just so good to watch and to play, because you can just see so many different ways of watching and playing. It's so good. It's so good. You don't understand. And that cutscene was very loud in my headphones, so I couldn't actually hear myself, and I'm hoping that it came across all right. Anyway, some dudes killed the dragons, and it was very exciting. And that's the important part. The dark will remain. So, they brought in a new age, the Age of Fire. The Age of Fire is coming to an end. Even now, there are only embers. But, fanny ass, but, it's not ending as fast as it's supposed to, and because of that, there are zombies. Yeah. I'm trying to put it in the most ridiculous way possible, because this is such a melodramatic, grandiose cutscene. And that's what I do, I ruin things. So this is the first playthrough I've done where there's alcohol in my system. Probably because I haven't been 21 since the last time I did a series. Because last time I did a real series was like... Well, there's some Majora's Mask commentary, which was 3 years ago. I wasn't even 20 then, so... Yeah. I'm not going to get drunk for this. I'm not going to call this Drunk Souls. If I wanted to do Drunk Souls, I would mix up a cocktail that somehow involved Fireball whiskey, and I would have a drinking game. I'm just going to be sipping on cider. And with a man of my body mass, that's only going to mildly slow my reaction time, and that will be negligible compared to my overall lack of skill and lack of reaction time that I have in general life. Anyway, so the whole zombie thing. People aren't happy about the fact that there are zombies, and they presume, they're like, oh, well, let's all, send them to an asylum in the north so they can't bother anyone. And that's where we come in. We are such a zombie, and hello there. We just got a little prize from an old friend there. I hope I remember to edit out my sniffs. I'm doing a lot of sniffs and snarvels. So if I sound congested, it's because I'm congested. Anyway, Welcome to Dark Souls. We're in the Northern Undead Asylum. And let's see. I think that was the pooping pot. Like several years after the game came out, someone looked in there and realized there were like logs of a brown substance in there. It's like, oh, it's the pooping pot. Anyway, what is this? Oh, that's I guess where we would be shackled if anybody cared to shackle us. And we've got bugs. This is not a speed run, by the way. Anyway, that kind young man just dropped us a key. Anyway, so the big thing that everyone loves about Dark Souls is the extremely difficult and punishing combat, which I am demonstrating here. Oh my. Hello, friend. Yeah, so that's a thing that we will be dealing with at some point. He's actually optional, but there's a warning. Dangerous things lie ahead. So, basic tutorial in combat, you've got a light attack, and you got a heavy attack. Depending on your weapons, you'll have a light attack that chains a certain amount. Heavy attacks, looks like they chain sometimes. Really depends on the weapon. You can lock on. Now, of course, right now we're using a broken sword right now, so it's not doing a whole lot of damage. You can run. Always good. And you can roll. What's up, bud? Trying to demonstrate that you can backstab. We'll demonstrate it soon enough, but it's always cool. So the main thrust of the combat is attacking things with your weapons and dodging attacks using your rolls. And that's pretty much it. And once you get good at that, you can be good at that and live a lot. Ooh, see that? See that up in the window up top? There's a guy. But you can also listen carefully. You can still hear the footsteps of the one in the basement. First time I played, and I think first time a lot of people play, they assume that that's the same demon, because we're about to meet him, by the way, up close and personal. So they assume it's the guy they saw in the basement there, but it's not. It's actually a separate demon. And then they return and meet the other demon, and they're sad. Bonfires at checkpoints. We'll be seeing a lot of them. Anyway, looky here. This is the Asylum demon. He's a big guy, and let's see what we can do to him with this broken sword. Very little. You can see we did 2 damage, and he has a lot more damage that he can take. So if you are Amazeballs, you can actually kill him. You can. It is possible if you're good enough. And if you do, you will get his weapon, and that's really neat. You can also kill him using black fire bombs, which are one of the starting gifts that I didn't take. That's the easy way out. But even if you do that, you still have to go through the rest of this area in order to move on to the game proper. And you can't wield his weapon effectively when you first get it, because it takes a lot of strength. I'll get into stats a little bit later. It takes a lot of strength to do. Oh, I should equip my weapons. I'll worry about you in just a sec. Alright. So let's, I guess this might be a good time to talk about stats a little bit. So we can equip weapons, and you can see there's a 20 there. Let's see. Yeah, there's a 20, and there's an 80. It's at least 4 times stronger, but I'm not sure how the exact numbers all work. And then you got shield. You got, this is the right hand, this is the left hand. You can see you got room for 2 weapons in, you got 2 weapons per hand if you like. But there's also like equip burden. You can't hold too much stuff that's too heavy, otherwise you'll move slowly. It's all very complicated and hard to understand your first time through. Hey, buddy. Rude. You wanna be like that? Alright. First I'm gonna kick you, just because I can. And now... yeah, you can see we're doing a lot more damage. Doing 44 compared to whatever the hell we were doing, 14, when we had the broken sword. So, anyway, that was a fog gate. Generally, it's not a checkpoint, but it's a way of dividing areas. I don't know if it like disguises loading screens or anything. Loading, I don't know. It's generally done for dramatic effect. When you're entering into a boss, usually there will be a fog gate, but they're used in other situations, so your first time through it can fake you out and be like, ooh, is there going to be a boss behind here? Maybe. Now, first cunning ploy of the game, you can see, if you look carefully, there's a round thing up there. And if you walk up there, the round thing will come at you. And it will roll down and it will break open that wall. And that's Dark Souls trying to teach you that you can dodge things and also die from things. They will put mean tricks up in front that you won't know are coming. And you just have to be careful, because if you look carefully, you will be able to see most things that Dark Souls throws at you before it throws them at you. Most things.
You're no hollow.
I'm looking kind of hollow. Hollows are what they call zombies.
Right. I'll die soon.
Anyway, this is actually the neat friend who we met, who tossed us the key earlier. His name is Oscar. He's never named in-game. I'm not sure if the name came from game files or from like an art book or what, but his name is Oscar.
There was an old saying in my family. Thou who art
This is a terrible old saying, by the way.
in thine exodus from the Undead Asylum maketh pilgrimage to the land of ancient lords. When thou ringeth the bell of awakening, the fate of the undead thou shalt know.
God, can you just imagine, like, a grandma rocking her grandchildren to sleep and saying, "Oh, young children, ring the bell of awakening and save the world," or whatever. It's terrible. Anyway, Estus flasks. Great, cool things. Everyone loves them. They're essentially like the fire of life in liquid form or something. Fire's a big thing. You remember they found souls in the fire and all that. Anyway, it's your healing, basically, and you get a limited stock before you return to a bonfire, and when you return to bonfires, you can fill them back up. And it's not your only way to heal, but it's your main way to heal. Now, watch carefully. You may have noticed that when we killed Undead earlier, we got some souls, which is the number in the bottom right. Watch carefully. Yeah, he's dead. And so that's kind of the thing. They're zombies, right? And the thing about zombies in Dark Souls is that they die over and over and over. And you are said zombie, and like you are one of the zombies. And then John was a zombie. But they don't necessarily like go hollow. They don't go full-on zombie mode until they basically lose their will to live. So Oscar, he's probably died before, but now he's dying and losing his soul or sanity or whatever. Anyway, we're dealing with multiple enemies at once now. It's not too bad because we got a bottleneck. Use bottlenecks to your advantage, bud. Always a good thing. And this guy doesn't have a close range weapon, so if you can just dodge his arrows, getting close, it's very easy to do so, you'll be in good shape. Now, this guy, okay. So here, the game wants to teach you how to parry. And I always learn to parry eventually, but I'm always bad at it at the beginning. Basically, you gotta swing your shield so that certain frames line up with certain animation of his swing to attack you. So let me demonstrate it. I want to demonstrate it. Hey. Rude. So yeah, you can put up your shield like that, and the heater shield is great for doing that, or you can swing it, and I want to demonstrate it because it's a really important skill to learn eventually. Oh, here's a backstab, by the way. I wanted to just show the backstab. You'll want to learn to parry eventually. There are much more dangerous enemies that are equally vulnerable to parrying. I'm getting to them straight eventually. Anyway. Yeah. Alright. That was a drop attack. Does a lot more damage than a regular attack. Alright, so you remember we were doing 2 damage before. Now we're doing 41. Much better. Now, it's still not going to be a cakewalk your first time through, just because you're doing 20 times more damage. But you can see it's going to go a lot faster. Alright, so here's the thing about Dark Souls dodging. It's not necessarily about moving so that you are not hit by the attack. It's more about moving so that the invincibility frames in your roll line up with the time when you are in the same location as a weapon. So, just for demonstration purposes. See that? I was probably in contact with his weapon at some point there. But because I was rolling, I didn't get hurt. Got hurt afterwards. But that's basically how dodging works. Now, I love this effect here. You kill him, and everything goes silent, and you can still hear the footsteps of the demon down below. Really nice effect. Anyway, Estus Flask. And now, one really neat thing about Dark Souls is that you probably saw this little area back when we were hanging out up there and fighting the undead, like the guy with the bow. And now we're here. So Dark Souls is really good about showing you areas that you're going to visit later, or showing you areas that you've already visited. And even, I've played this game for a long time, relative to how long I play most games, and I'm still learning about some of those sites, those connections. Anyway, there are a couple things spoken around here. There's that soul over there, and then there's a bird's nest.
Give me warm. Give me soft.
So the thing you can do here is you can leave items here, then save and quit, and return, and the bird here will have given you a new item. Sometimes it's useful. Most of the time it's not. Anyway, let's run towards this cliff, and suddenly a cutscene. Oh my goodness.
Only in the ancient legends it is stated that one day an undead shall be chosen.
Oh god, Game of Thrones was right. Is that a joke that makes sense? I don't know. Whenever I see the raven or crow or whatever there, I automatically think of A Feast for Crows, one of the books in the Song of Ice and Fire series that I haven't read because I've only read the first one. Because good lord, they're like 1,000 fucking pages. Uh-oh, I'm swearing in this playthrough. That must be the third of a cider I've had talking. Anyway, this crow is actually fuel for a lot of speculation about the lore of Dark Souls. Because there's this one specific, goddess who is mentioned a couple times, but we don't know a whole lot about her. And a lot of people think that the crow is either a manifestation of the goddess or a messenger of the goddess or something. But they're probably wrong. It's a crow. I don't know.